Hello everyone. Welcome to our Instagram live. I'm just trying to find Kontejner to tune them in. Yeah, take some minutes. Oh. I cannot find them. Well, Kontejner, if you're looking, maybe you can request me so that I can accept your invitation to join the Instagram live. Just 1 second. Well, hello everyone. Waiting for Kontejner to tune in. Okay, where is Anna? Is here. Well, I'm looking. Cannot find you. Anna. Okay, now we have waiting for Anna to join the conversation, and I don't know what's happening. I cannot seem to find Kontejner, the organization, so that they can join in the conversation as well. But until I'm figuring this out, I would like to, tell you something about this series. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm Sabina, and today we should be in conversation with Kontejner, where we want to talk a little bit about the question of care and the methods of curating for a broken world. Well, in the past couple of months, we have decided what is happening. I'm so sorry. This is not working the way I wanted it to work. And I cannot find Kontejner. Okay, so we have Anna will join in the conversation right now, but I wanted to say how in the past couple of months we have decided to do a series of talks, IGTV live talks, and we decided to invite in conversation people and organizations that we want to think with. If you had been following us, you probably had a chance to look at our previous talks, or if you haven't done that, you can do it after this talk, where if you scroll down our Instagram page, you'll find the talks that Amelie did and Sarah. Amelie spoke with Nato Thompson about rewilding, about rethinking the nonprofit sector, and about the impact of what is the impact that international cultural infrastructures have on the local communities. Now, Sarah, in her conversation, was with Sebastian Sitoki, and they had an amazing conversation about the meaning and potentialities of the term rewilding. And we're having some technical difficulties where I see that Anna is not able to join in. I'll try once again. I hope this works. Otherwise, we'll have to probably reschedule. Now it's connecting. Yeah, there. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Oh, I was afraid it's not going to happen.
Well, we are not so experienced with Instagram, and especially not with Instagram live or TV. Sorry for
it's my first.
It took us a bit.
Okay, nice to have you here. I would like to have a short introduction about why I've invited you, and then we'll have a nice chat, hopefully, without any, further technical issues. Now, I have invited Kontejner for a talk as I wanted to look into the question of care in the institutional setting, and I wanted to also have a conversation about exploring the methodologies of curating for a broken world. Kontejner, for those of you who don't know, Kontejner is a very interesting, wonderful NGO organization, nonprofit organization from Zagreb, Croatia. They're a Bureau of Contemporary Art Practice, and they're engaged in curatorial work, organizing a lot of very interesting public events and art festivals. Now, with me today are Hodz and Tereza Teklic. Hi, nice to see you. And I would like to, ask you to introduce yourselves and maybe say something more about Kontejner and your practice and what is it that you actually do.
Should I go first? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Sabina, for inviting us for this wonderful talk. My name is Ena Hodz. I'm program coordinator and curator at Kontejner. I've been involved with Kontejner for more than 10 years now. And I've been working besides management and finances. I've been also working in some projects, especially those that are dealing with art and technology, such as device art, but also curating some sound art programs and programs that are dealing more with experimental processes connected to sound.
Awesome. Tereza.
Hi, my name is Tereza Teklic. Thank you also for having us and for this wonderful opportunity. So actually, my time at Kontejner is similar to Ena's. We joined actually around the same time. We started as volunteers for one of Kontejner's festival in 2008, and since then we've done everything from volunteer to assistant to assistant curator to curator to project manager. She's also project coordinator, as she said. So yes, 10 years with Kontejner.
That's a long time. Kontejner is a big organization. Like, how many of you work together actually?
Well, I think we wouldn't say that we are big. We feel very small when we talk about people involved, but our projects are big. We have 20 members as an NGO, but around half of them are active, let's say, all the time. Other members are active in some project or in some, some years more, some years less. But yes, we have like 10 people that are really active, and of course a lot of wonderful collaborators that help us make all our projects happen.
And this, what she said, active, we're active, but actually two of us, Anna and I, are fully employed full-time, and one person is half-time employed.
Okay. Okay.
So
it's
very small.
More than full-time employees. Okay, now I get it. Well, I know that you specifically work in the framework of cross-sectional collaborations. So do you want to tell us something more about that? Why is that such an important thing in your project-making practice?
Yes, well, I mean, our main area of interest and work is art that is connected in various ways to technology and science, and also art that is dealing with implications of social definition of normality and practices that are related to human body in various ways. And I mean, by the very nature of this field, our work is always somehow cross-sectoral.
Yeah.
For us, it means, we can say that it means much more than dealing with this type of thematic framework, in a sense that it goes beyond the representation practices, exhibitions, events, what we usually do, which is our main field of activities. It goes more towards trying to establish some type of different partnership with organizations and institutions that work beyond the cultural sector, so from different sectors such as science, but also let's say some social practices like retirement homes and also hospitals and different institutions that are not, maybe don't come immediately to mind when you talk about contemporary art.
Exactly.
So this is very important for us because we think that it is these partnerships and these collaborations can offer some new perspectives on creating and curating art, but also can be potentially transformative or maybe even empowering for a wider community.
Yeah, that's just all. I think it's a very, very, very good approach, and this is something that's one of the main reasons why I actually decided to invite you girls and you as an organization. But you know, let's go somewhere from the beginning. You just finished the festival, the Touch Me Festival. I would like to congratulate you on that. You had the crazy experience of having to organize an international art festival while the pandemic crisis was still, you know, at its peak. In this summer, was that right? So how did the pandemic change the initial plan? Did it change anything? And how was this experience? You can also tell us something more about the festival itself.
Well, it was yes, it was a really crazy situation because at the time of pandemic, we actually planned on having the biggest edition of the festival yet. So the 6th edition of the festival, of Touch Me Festival, didn't just present it like the central exhibition or the program that is directed to this festival, but we also hosted 2 European project that Kontejner is part of. On the one hand, it's IMAP, or the European Media Art Platform, with an exhibition, and then Reimagine Europe with sound performance program. So it was very challenging and very difficult, because when we started to think about the festival and to organize it, the lockdown happened. So in this few months, there are a lot of A, B, C, D, I don't know how many scenarios on how the project is going to look like. Then in June, actually, we decided, yes, we're going to have a physical festival. Actually, we got back to the beginning. So the initial plan was on. We thought that September would still be an okay time to do the festival as we imagine it. But then, well, the summer wave, or I don't know how to call it, the second wave of the pandemic happened. So yes, there were a lot last minute changes, because as I mentioned, we had also a sound performance program. It's easy to organize, shift, to change some things regarding exhibitions. You can also, the artists, if they don't want to come, you can set up the work remotely, or maybe show just the documentation of the project. But with the performance, it's very different. So there was some our collaborator, curator, Davorka Begovic, who did this part of the program. She did a great job, because there was really last minute things and artists that unfortunately dropped out because they didn't feel comfortable traveling. So yes, this was challenging, but I think in the end we are very satisfied with how everything was. So about the Touch Me Festival, just in short, it's one of our 3 triennial festivals that we do besides the device art, the Extravagant Bodies Festival, and this festival that interconnects art and science, always from a thematic point of view, a theme that we choose that is intriguing both to artists but also to scientists, biologists, chemists, physicists. So in this year, we explored the connection between different living beings in general. And then we had these two EU projects. So yes, was a lot to do.
It's a friend of mine recently told me, which I found very interesting. I think I told Anna about this, how when it comes to dealing with organizing events at the moment, he feels like he's doing every event as if it's his last. So it's interesting when you say that this is the main interest that I had from my side in inviting you was to question the notion of caring or the culture of care as a curatorial practice. Now this culture of care, when we call it culture of care, requires that we actually address a multi-systematic crisis that we are kind of living in, and we are, you know, experiencing it. So we also want to, you know, have, and we have an urgent need to incorporate intersectional modes of solidarity. And that's, you know, our method, at least in collective rewilding, includes asking the question of where and with whom are we doing the looking. So, you know, I believe that this is one of the things that we have as a shared position where it comes to the way we look at art and the way that we, you know, deal with art. And I think this is very visible in your projects. You can take a look, for an example, the exhibition of body politics or even extravagant bodies, which I find to be one of the very interesting formats that you have. And I would like to ask you about these exhibitions and events, as I believe that through them, you manage to look into how art and artistic space can be, can enter in a fragmented environment, and also, you know, kind of from a subjective matter, talk about, you know, a broader contemporary society position or issue. Yeah, so extravagant bodies, body politics, how is this, you know, how are these events, you know, coming to fruition?
Well, yes, I mean, all of our projects somehow are connected in a different way to this notion of care. But besides of that, which you now explained very well, I think for this year, we had a really special situation where we didn't only explore the theme, which is also now in this festival was kind of close to extravagant bodies theme, because it related a lot to the human body and its position today in the world, in the system of our environment, you know, how it is connected to other living beings, but also how it is immersed in the technological environment. And, you know, it's really, I mean, kind of all but always relevant question of what is, you know, artificial, what is natural to a human being, and how do you pose different hierarchies through your environment and through your own behavior, and also through technology that you use. So all these questions are always somehow inherent to our projects. It is kind of the topic that we deal with in different ways through different formats, but it's somehow constant. But this year was kind of different because this notion of care got a really you know, concrete and specific meaning, not only within this theme, but within actual, you know, actions that we were doing with the festival. So, for example, there was a moment where we were planning I don't know which scenario for the festival, and we talked about the support that is needed locally for local artists to do art in these crazy times, you know, in these crazy conditions. So we decided to give as much as we can to local artists and to involve them as much as we can in this festival, even though we had a lot of international artists and international guests this year as well. But we really thought about what we can do with this project that can be somehow more beneficial to our local community and to help somehow, to solve this crazy situation. So this is, I think, the biggest difference, when you are talking about care.
Yeah, because usually when you think of care, and this is usually the perception that people have is through the lens of the physical care for the other. People think about healthcare, childcare, care for elderly, and so on. But when we look about caring as a curatorial practice, there is always a question that is raised. What does that even mean? And for us, at least, it means that we have to, kind of orient our working while, having a sense of vulnerability and looking into the world and understanding what the world actually needs. And it's an interesting approach. For example, in the Extravagant Bodies, I think I had the chance to see your Extravagant Bodies, Extravagant Years exhibition, where you had, the topic was the body of the elder people, which is something that not many people see as artistic practice or something that artists would touch upon. And this is something that is also very interesting in your work, because you take very specific topics, and these topics are closely related to everyday things. Like maybe you want to tell something more about that. Where does the inspiration come from? What defines the process of thinking and deciding what is the topic that you are going to touch upon?
I mean, it really depends on the project that we are working on. We have, maybe we didn't explain in the beginning about our festivals, but we have this 3 triennial festivals. One of them we already explained. This is a Touch Me Festival that interconnects science and art with science and technology, and it's always thematic. The Extravagant Bodies is about the notion of normality, what is normal, what is considered not. And we have the Device Art Festival, which is actually a festival that deals with a device as an artistic medium. So it depends on the festival, on the project that we are working on, and how we are approaching the project. So we have 2 festivals, the Extravagant Bodies and the Touch Me Festival, which is thematic. And the Device Art Festival is comparative. That means that we do a collaboration with another device art scene, so to call it, from a different country. So until now we did it with, for example, Japan, Canada, Czech Republic. So we find a partner organization and make a selection of artworks that are going to be firstly presented in Zagreb and then also at the partner organization. With these other 2 festivals, it is more about the topic. As I said about Touch Me Festival, so it's the themes and topics that intrigue the contemporary artists and the contemporary scientists. And of course, we as curators, we don't know everything about this topic. We need to investigate as well, and how the artists, the contemporary artists that are dealing with this topic are collaborating in a cross-sectoral way. This is also how we need to work to present this theme from very different angles. And this is also what we did with the Extravagant Bodies and with the topic of age. What we always try to do is through different program activities within the festival to engage these communities. These target groups. That was what I could Yes, and especially for this this edition of the festival, we had so much program going on, so many workshops that included elderly. We had a choir that consisted of elderly people. They had prior to the festival, I don't know how, for a month or 2 months, workshops and rehearsals. So at the opening of the festival, they had a big performance. And afterwards, they wanted to continue working on this. So these festivals are also a good starting point for new project activities.
Yes, but I think that also age is really it's a really weird topic, you know, because in previous editions we were dealing with, you know, mental health or the disabled body, how it is defined and how it is, you know, perceived in the society. But age is not something that you consider, you know, not normal in that way. Exactly. It's very normal, but actually it's very the theme and all the issues that come with old age, and also all the wonderful things that come with old age, it is very marginalized.
Definitely,
it's very also frowned upon. So it was a really it was a challenging topic in a completely different way. And I think that is also why the project grew, you know, in this weird manner. It is the biggest project that the biggest festival that we did ever, program-wise. So, you know, 33 workshops and I don't know how many months of the exhibition, and complete insanity, you know. Our book from that festival edition has over 600 pages, you know, of the theoretical reader. So it's completely crazy, you know.
It's a very beautiful book. I remember from one of the exhibitions from the festival, I remember there is this, I don't really remember the artwork, but it was a bodysuit made to make you lose touch, or like to kind of enter an older body, so to say, so that you with this you question, you entered into the fields of talking about pleasure and old age, and you know, all these things that people don't talk about, but they're actually, you know, everyday moments. What is the artwork again? Do you remember it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it's Stahl Stanley. It's a curator and artist from Norway that we work with him a lot. He was actually our co-curator for last Extravagant Bodies, Extravagant Love festival. And yeah, he did, it's called Sexiatrics. He did this bodysuit where you, which actually helps elderly people have sexual experiences, but also puts you, when you wear it, into this, you know, uncomfortable physical state where you want to have some pleasure, but it's kind of difficult. So yeah. We have actually in our office where we are now, we have we still have this large print of photos with this suit, and it's with us from 2013.
So you wore it?
So, yeah. I didn't personally, no, but some of our members did. You did. So yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the experience?
It was very briefly, but yeah, it was very uncomfortable because you were pulled down by this. You couldn't stand straight.
Interesting.
Because the position of an elderly body. Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, well, you touched upon, you know, books. That's also a big part of your work. You publish a lot. And for those of you who maybe have never heard of Kontejner, you definitely, yes, that's one of the books. Check it online on their website. You can actually find the link to all the publications they have ever done, and they're wonderful books. Do you want to tell us something about your publication? Who are the writers, thinkers, you know, artists, curators that you think with and you use in your publications? How does that all work?
I mean, it depends on the festival and on the topic. This is a book that we did for the 10 years anniversary of our our organization, and actually in 2 years it will be the 20th.
Wow.
So we just talked about before we started this conversation that it's time to do another book, but
we will see.
Because it's always a challenging process, not just because of funding, but also time-wise, and I mean the things that we do or did in the last years really grew, and the projects that we are working on, but the theme is actually quite stagnant. So we'll see. But I can share. I can show this. The Touch Me, the latest edition of the festival, which also has the 2 European projects that I was talking about. The past device art, which was actually not a collaborative edition, but an international edition. We did it with a Chinese curator who showed the international device art scene. So device artists from Europe, Australia, China, and the US. So next year it's going to be the 7th edition of the festival. And this is the latest Extravagant Bodies catalog that was dedicated to love, extravagant love.
Interesting. What is extravagant love?
How to answer this question? Everything is extravagant love.
It's
every love is
topic. As I said, I find it very, very refreshing. The topics that you deal with, it's very mundane, but you make them important because they are in fact important. But when we question methods of curating for a broken world, what would that mean for you, if I may ask, one curator to another?
Yes, well,
because when we talk about the broken world, like many people, like I had comments coming that says, well, why do you assume there is a broken world? What is a broken world? What does that even mean? And I feel like that we are living in a world of crisis with a lot of problems, and this is something that we can all agree on. And we have to deal with questions of mass tourism, carbon footprints, workers' rights, social precarization, and all of these like cultural practice, I think should be in tune with, the world as it is at the moment. So when we look at curating, we have to, I guess, have this sense of, there is a broken world and we are not outside of it. So this is where I guess our position is from. And I know it's like a question that is within our research at the moment. We're asking this question a lot and trying to figure out what does it mean to curate for a broken world. So when I ask you this, it's more from an interest of what do you think about it? How do you see it? Is there anything that you want to add about into the conversation?
I mean, it's on the one hand the presentation side that you mentioned, and these are some of the themes that you also mentioned. These are the themes that the artworks that we present also at this edition of Touch Me Festival. These are the topics that artists deal with. For example, the EMAP European Media Art Platform exhibition that we did. It was a group show, a selection of artworks that were produced within this platform in the last 3 years. It is a platform that actually each year gives residencies to emerging artists from Europe. So besides the residency, they also get a production grant. So it's about 4,000 euros for this residency. So the artworks that we showed in this exhibition are dealt with pollution, climate change, communication, with
interspecies
connections, and visions of future. So these are the topics that they're occupied with. So this is on the one hand. On the other hand, we have projects like Anna said that we give emerging artists from Croatia the opportunity to work and to think about their projects. So we have since 2006 production platform. It's called Rada Sam Art Lab, or in English DIY Art Lab, that is focusing really on them to give them like financial support to produce their ideas, because this is always the finances are always a topic that we have an issue here in Croatia. There's almost not enough.
That's I think an issue everywhere else, and also a taboo. I find it very interesting how a lot of people don't even think of art and culture production as something that needs money. It's just something that happens
because the notion is that it's always free.
Yeah, art is free, and art production is not labor. It's actually someone's hobby, and that's why I guess there is an issue that people tend to forget that there is also money that needs to get involved in order to have anything produced. So I think that's a very nice initiative. You do it once a year once like for the international artists, and the other one is for a local artist. That's like two, or every year it changes.
Yes. No, it's two. It goes. It's a year-long project. Each of these initiatives is a year-long project. So annually we do both. But we also had different projects that are dealing more with, for example, education, and working with students at the art academy and other faculties that are not, so much linked to culture and arts. So I think that it is really important to have this effort that is not only curatorial in the traditional sense of word, where we choose artworks that are interesting or deal with a specific topic in a certain way. We try to dig a little bit deeper and we try to change things from the audience development perspective, So for us, audience development is not just a buzzword, for writing projects. We really take it very seriously, and we try to direct our efforts to this educational part of curatorial work, because we think that it's all a part of curating for a broken world. I mean, what can you change with one exhibition that is a one-time event? It's nice, but we just feel that it's not enough. So we want to engage somehow deeper with the community. So this is really important for us. We had for 8 or 9 years, we had a program where we were working only with young artists that want to explore sound as an artistic medium. So that was also a really wonderful project. We had over 50 artists in 8 years that we were working with. So I mean, all these experiences are really important for us, and we want to offer, also our organization. We want to offer it as a resource, for this education as a starting point, or we want to be used in this way. We want to be used.
That's a good way of putting it. We're out there users. I think this is amazing, and education is a big part of what we do, and it should be that way. And when you say you made like 30 workshops for one event, I just think that's mind-blowing. Would you like to add anything that we maybe didn't touch upon?
Yeah, I mean, we can add a lot, but yeah, I mean, with this workshop part, it's really also this festival that you mentioned that was linked to the topic of old age, but it was really maybe we can just add that it was we didn't start with the notion of, okay, we will do 30 workshops. It was not like that. It was just when we approached all these retirement homes and the gerontology centers in Zagreb, and when we started to work with these people, these elderly people, but also people who deal with old age from a medical point of view or other, sectors, we really discovered that these people are also interested in these topics in which we are interested in, which was kind of strange because you discover your own prejudice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You think, okay, we are going to a retirement home, how will we talk about sex? You know, it's kind of, we don't know.
But they talk a lot about sex.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I think it was really an amazing thing, and the project through which we also developed as curators, you know, and opened up some new perspectives on our work.
That's just I think, you know, very worthy of everyone's attention. For those of you, we have a smaller audience today. I guess it's because it's afternoon. Does anyone want to maybe pose a question into the room? Because from my side, I think I covered every topic that I wanted to touch upon. Otherwise, I would like to maybe just say a few words about, you know, if you're interested in learning more about the idea of care in an institutional setting, I would like to definitely, you know, invite you to take a look at our website or even Instagram, because over there we have, you can read through our bibliography. There is also the project or the link that says Culture of Care, where you can read more about what the culture of care means for us. And we come, you know, across these 14 points of limits of knowledge and care that I think are very helpful for every, you know, art interested individual to take a look at and think, read through and see what does that mean. Does that shift the attention or perspective of looking at art events or working with art and, you know, trying to have a new lens of engaging in this world. Any questions? I don't think we have any questions. Anna, Tereza, it was a pleasure having you. It was.
Thank you for having us.
I was very happy to have you agree on joining the conversation. It was a pleasure. There's one. I just find it fascinating how decentering the human from the whole, all Abel's body is for contemporary art and audience. Thank you, Sara. That was a comment, not a question. Sara also also works with us in the collective, and yeah, I invite you to take a look at you know, what we do. Definitely go and check Kontejner because they're doing an amazing job. And once again,
check the website for catalogs.
Yes, some shameless self-promotion. I'm doing it all the time in case you didn't notice. The catalogs are actually, you can order them through your website, is that correct?
And also we have a Facebook web shop.
Facebook web shop. How does that work?
All people can just look up our email addresses on our website and just
and you ship abroad? I think I asked this one.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, okay. With a discount?
Always.
Okay, well, thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you, you know, again somewhere without the pandemic and viruses going around. I was actually supposed to be there for the Touch Me Festival, but it was impossible for me to travel since Croatia was put on the red zone for Germany, and that meant that coming back, I would have had to quarantine, which I couldn't afford. So yeah, it was
next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sabina.
Bye everyone.
Bye.